All right, guys, Clyde Drexler responded to Michael Jordan, who said he was offended when he was compared to Drexler when the two met in the finals. Drexler said it was obviously all from Jordan's perspective since it was his documentary. The Hall of Famer also said it's a team game and not an individual competition, and added this quote, "I didn't take 35 shots and get 20 free throws a night, so I wasn't going to score 40 points a night." Shannon, do you like what Drexler said?
I did, Skip. I mean, because, look, like Clyde said, and like a lot of people said, this documentary was supposed to be The Last Dance, but basically it was a kind of a biographical, autobiography of Michael Jordan. And so it's from his perspective and all his highlights, and he bashed a lot of people. And Clyde was like, hold on, wait a minute. Now, I'm not saying I'm your equivalent, but I wasn't fettuccine either. I was on the Dream Team. I'm an all-NBA player, if I'm not mistaken, Skip. He's like, I've gone to finals, didn't win any, but I was an accomplished player in my own right. And I'm just not going to just sit here, and because every time someone came up, it's like, well, the glove was no threat, and I was offended. Well, hell, if you were that offended and you nobody was a threat, why the hell you didn't win 14 championships? So clearly somebody played better. Oh, I forgot, the teams. Right, the team game. That's good. Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that. I can see you. You do realize I can see you, Skip, right? You do. I got a TV monitor. Unlike you, I have a TV monitor. I can see what you're doing. But, Skip, look, I understand Clyde, Skip, because you've been around this game too long, Skip. You know guys have pride, and guys will concede, yeah, this guy's better than me. Okay, fine. But when you just keep it openly and blatantly just like, oh, man, that guy was nothing. Like, wait a minute. I'm an all-star, too. I'm a 10, 11, 12-time all-star. I'm an all-NBA player. Yes, I went to the finals, didn't win, but come on, bruh. Don't just dismiss me like I was the 13th guy on the bench. And so for me, Skip, I was glad Clyde stood up for himself. And I guess from the documentary that was edited out, a lot of other people stood up for themselves too. But we didn't get an opportunity to see that did with Skip. Because The Last Dance supposedly been about the Chicago Bulls and The Last Dance. It turned into Michael Jordan's swan song. So that's neither here nor there about that. To his point about Kareem and Wilt, Skip, I don't know, for whatever the reasons are, we never give the big men the love that we give small guys. Maybe because they're big. As Wilt Chamberlain once says, no one roots for Goliath. Everybody always is praying and pulling for David. And I think that's what we have here, Skip, because these two big men, Kareem was 24-11 for a career, 6-time champ, 6-time MVP, more than any other player, Skip. And Wilt, Skip, I know we say Shaq's dominant, but nobody was more dominant than Wilt Chamberlain, Skip. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 30 points, 23 rebounds for a career. Skip, the guy got 6 70-point games. The rest of the NBA got 5. And he has 118 50-point games. The next closest is Michael Jordan with 31. So the numbers that we see these guys, and Kareem is a 19-time All-Star. I don't know if we'll ever see anybody put up numbers like Wilt. But the big guy doesn't get any love, Skip, because they are big. Because everybody assumes you're supposed to do that because you are big.
Okay. So, I know Clyde Drexler little. I like Clyde Drexler a lot. But I am not going to let you, Shannon Sharp, use Clyde's jealousy of Michael Jordan to try to undercut the Jordan GOAT argument. That's what you're trying to do. See, there's another guy. There's another guy. Shannon, to use the oldest cliche in sports, I'm sorry, but Clyde couldn't carry Michael's jockstrap.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that, Skip.
That's the gap. That's the gap between Clyde Drexler and Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Clyde did win. He did win the one finals. Remember when he was back in Houston?
Oh, yeah, with Houston. With Houston, yes.
But,
yeah.
Okay, but he won it because Michael was playing baseball. He played in 2 others, and unfortunately, he had to meet Michael head to head, and he got Michael right between the eyes because you know what happened before Game 1 of Bulls Portland? Somehow Michael convinced himself that a guy who was no threat to him, Clyde Drexler, because by 92, Michael was universally acknowledged as the best player and certainly the best 2-guard. on earth.
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden, Michael convinced himself before game one that somehow Clyde was being built up by the media as beyond Michael Jordan. And remember what he did? All I have to do is do this and do this and do this, because he did it 6 times. He hit 6 threes in the first half. And Shannon, that's the same Michael Jordan who averaged taking 3 threes a game that year. He attempted 3 a game, 3.1, and he made 6 in the first half just to say, watch this, Clyde Drexler, and then watch this, and this. And Shannon, even if I go back to what happened in their respective national championship college games, Michael hit the last shot, the game-winning shot. He announced his presence when everybody thought he was Mike Jordan, as you know, against Georgetown for your beloved North Carolina. And he did that as a true freshman. He hit that shot. And then Clyde, for what was called Phi Slamma Jamma, and they were historically great. They reached the final against an 8 seed, North Carolina State. And you know what happened? The biggest upset in college basketball history happened in that national championship game. I was there at courtside in Albuquerque in 1983. And Clyde had a miserable game because he got in foul trouble. I think he had 4 fouls by halftime. And he wound up scoring a grand total of 4 points in that game when he averaged 16 and 9 for Phi Slamma Jamma. And you know what happened? Air ball, dunk at the buzzer, 54-52.
Lorenzo Charles.
So, again, Lorenzo Charles. So that's Clyde's legacy. That's his resume. And so I'm sorry, I'm even ashamed that we're having this conversation, because was Michael selfish? Was he a ball hog? I don't know. He won 10 scoring titles because he was the best scorer in the history of the game. So I don't know. I don't think I need to defend that. He went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs. I don't think I need to defend that.
Skip. Oh, you don't, Skip. But all I'm saying is Clyde is, because someone sticks up for themselves, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're jealous of the other person. I'm just not going to just let you keep taking shots at me and poo-poo me and make it seem like I should have been happy to be in the NBA. Skip, Clyde Drexler was a top 50 player all time. He was on the dream team. So all Clyde is saying, like, hold on, wait a minute, I get it. You're great. You're pantheon. You're one of the all-time greats, and there's no conversation in which Michael Jordan will not come up as one of the greatest players of all time or on the Mount Rushmore. I get all of that. But me taking up for myself, me defending myself, doesn't mean that I'm jealous of him. And rightfully so, Skip, everybody else is just bowed down. Oh, yeah, you're right, Michael. Woo, let me take a back seat to myself with all my accomplishments. No. And Skip, you got to realize, do you realize, Skip, Wilt once had a game with 55 rebounds in a game? Wilt almost has as many 60-point games as the rest of the league combined.
Okay, timeout. Real quick, I'm going to get to that. But Clyde Drexler, for the record, was a late add to the Dream Team. He didn't make the original. I think they started with 10, and it came down to him or Isaiah. That's what they announced. 6 months after the original formation of the Dream Team, they needed to add 2 players, an 11th and a 12th man. The 11th man was Clyde Drexler. The 12th was a college player because they wanted one college player, so they picked Christian Laettner. Okay, now, to Kareem and Wilt. So Clyde is saying he's offended by all this talk about is the GOAT Jordan or LeBron, when both Kareem and Wilt should be right in the thick of that conversation and debate. No, wrong, Clyde, wrong, Shannon. I'm sorry, but Wilt and Kareem neither had what I call winners' intangibles. Neither was a leader of the basketball team. If you look at Kareem's resume, if you look at his trail, again, he played in 10 finals, but in the first 2, he had Oscar Robertson. And in the last 8, he had Magic Johnson. So, Shannon, I dare you to look at what happened after Oscar retired in Milwaukee. While he was still in Milwaukee, he played one more season there in 1975. Go look what happened. They missed the playoffs. So the guy you're telling me could be the GOAT, missed the playoffs his final year in Milwaukee. Then he goes to the Lakers the next year, 76, and they went 40-42 and missed the playoffs because there was no Magic Johnson. And Kareem played 4 years without Magic.
That season they missed the playoffs. Can you tell? I said the year they went 40-42, tell the people at home what happened. Who was the MVP that season? That's how dominant he was.
I don't know.
He went 40-42 and won the MVP. Yeah, no, I'm talking about Kareem.
Okay, I got it. Okay, yeah. I got it. Okay, but they missed the playoffs. Then they did get to the conference finals next year and got swept by Portland because of Bill Walton, who just completely outplayed Kareem. Don't give me GOAT. And then they lost in the first round in 78. And then they lost in the conference semifinals in 79. And then what happened? Here came Magic Johnson out of Michigan State University. And what happened when Magic was a rookie in the closeout Game 6 at Philadelphia? Help me out. Kareem pulled his hamstring, could not go in that game. Yeah, and Magic played center. So Magic steps in for Kareem. The point guard plays center and goes, whatever it was, 42-15 and whatever. It was outrageous numbers. So, okay, the point was, 42-15 and 7. The point was they didn't even need Kareem to win that game. So,
Skip, you're talking about one game. Do you?
Well, I'm just saying.
Do you believe if Kareem doesn't play any of the first 5 games, do you believe